Holy smoly, that is not what I expected. And I'm just like, this is how you make one this is how you make one assembler. It's clean, it's nice, it's beautiful. Honestly, the most broad-reaching aspect of fish spoiling now is that I'm even more wary of sushi belts. Welcome back to the Factory Automation Nation. We are here in the early stages of the space age, looking forward to getting into the extraterrestrial environment. But for now, we're just kind of building up what we already have as a starting point. We've got ourselves some good red and green tech going here. Ended up just adding on a couple of machines there to max out the process, assuming the iron provides. That's the biggest thing, is we did need to make sure that our iron is going from place to place through our train network that we just set up on the last episode. We do have as well our advanced circuits going through the process of helping to create our chemical science packs, the blue ones, and that's going to get us to our next set of technology that I'd love to talk about for just a second here, because this tree is so much different than what it used to be. I can't say that I knew the progression by the back of my hand, but I know that low density structure with further down the tree. The idea here is you can actually get a rocket silo with just blue technology. The most complicated things that you need to make this work are going to be processing units and electrical engine units, which aren't that bad, to be honest. It just requires the oil cracking and a little bit of the sulfuric acid, and you can make it happen. So the idea here is it looks like they want you to go to outer space and start checking out those other planets relatively early after this third tier. I mean, you could save it until you get a little bit of purple, get a little yellow. Nothing's stopping you from that. But just the fact that you can is amazing, honestly. It's presents a really cool opportunity. So I'm going to explore some of the new techs. We're going to be getting into modules, get the first quality upgrade, which I believe will give you a multiplier on how effective that item is or how valuable that item is in its own right. I guess we can take the train here. We don't necessarily... Oh, train already left. We'll just drive our way up. But what it can do is simply make it so that the item itself does more. I believe the maximum quality, which is the orange 5x legendary module, gives a 2.5 times increase to the crafting speed of a level 2 assembler. So I don't know at what point we're going to be anywhere near that, but just the fact that you can get an assembler 2.5 or effectively 3.0 earlier on allows you to be much more efficient with your build space as well. So definitely going to try to see what we can do with that. I got the modular armor because I definitely think it used to take blue chips, now it just takes red chips, and either way it will give us plus 10 inventory slots, which is awesome. So I'm looking forward to getting that as well. In the meantime here, yeah, we've got our iron being packed up here through our electric mining drill operations going onto this. I ended up splitting the belt a little bit so that it's feeding both the left and the right chest pretty evenly, but at the end of the day, I don't think we're going to be consuming more than we're extracting. But we'll have to see. In the meantime, yeah, we do have a setup here that I would like to build upon a bit. We're going to be trying to bring in copper onto this rail line and having a smelting copper station over here, bring in stone as well. We're down to our last 25k stone. So I'm very excited about all these techs, but I recognize that we need to make sure that we have a good raw material throughput to actually take advantage of it. So that's what we're going to be building on today, trying to get closer to robots. And is there anything interesting in this guy I left behind? Nothing really. We can kind of ransack. Give him a little bit more coal to survive if I ever need a vehicle up in this area. Maybe I'll just ride the train up next time. But yeah, I do want to try to build off of our stuff over here as well. The oil processing, turn it into advanced oil processing. That'll allow us to add lubricant to the system. Probably need to get circuits as well. All my lubricant builds have in the past had the circuits built into it so that they can kind of switch between heavy oil cracking and lubricant based on what I need. So I'll probably go that route again, and that means we will need the whatever you would call the... Is it circuits? It's yeah, logic circuits, basically. And so we'll go that route. But yeah, we're going to be expanding on this area. We're going to be probably reutilizing some of this plastic and red circuits to go ahead and make some stuff like the item I just went for. We wanted to get that nice new suit. Could I do a quality enhancement on the suit? Like, is that... What would that do? Would it increase the stats of it? I really couldn't tell you what... It says, I think the blog post said every single item in the game can have an increased quality. But is that like a tangible difference? If you put a higher quality copper plate into a dense frame maker, the low density structures, is that going to fill more of the prerequisites? I have really no idea. So we're going to have to kind of play around with it and gain an understanding for ourselves what all this really entails and go from there. But you know, we can of course do a little restock ourselves as well. And yeah, you can tell I can really use those 10 inventory slots when I get to that point. Let's see, we've got it 50 and 30. I've got that in hand. But yeah, what if I just wait for the quality stuff to come out? Is that going to be better? Yeah, maybe. So why don't we take a look and try to set up a quality module manufacturer. So if I look ahead and I say this requires 5 and 5 on electronic circuits and advanced circuits, and we just try to bump up the quality 1 notch to green, I need to build some roads, because every time I run my car through the transport belts, it seems to be, you know, drifting in a way that is just not ideal. So yeah, if we are actually feeding into green science and red science, and we just wanted to say, hey, let's go ahead. I was going to start on military science pack. Of course, I want to get into that too. But as I explore the tech tree further, I realized, man, you could do a lot with just the first 3 sciences. There's so much we've unlocked at this point in time. I mean, we could go to a planet before we have purple. Isn't that crazy? So, I mean, my main objective is still to get construction bots. That eases the process so much and allows you to scale faster. Yes, I do want a little bit of that black tech. It's going to be pretty easy to set up with just these being the raw inputs. But we can definitely tone down the amount that we're pulling in. We do not need like 600 stone per minute. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get this quality module factory online. But, I mean, how much do I really need for this thing? So if I look at it, quality module. Can I close this page out? I can't. Okay. I'm just trying to get used to the new UI. But yeah, quality module, 15-second crafting time, 5 and 5. So let's say that we wanted this thing running full time. We would just need 20 electric circuits and 20 advanced circuits, which can be easily provided by just 1 machine each, right? Yeah, no problem at all. So I think that's the route I want to go. The copper plates are normally cut off right here. We could extend that further. We could do a lot of things. Basically, a bus system will allow us to really make the most of the resources in the long term, but you know, a lot of this has been a lot of little short-term projects. So you'll have to forgive me for having everything, you know, only slightly organized with intention. So, but plastic's going to be important. Copper's going to be important, and iron's going to be important. I think that is going to cover it for the green and reds. So with iron plates being here, do we want to split that off a little earlier? I imagine we do. So we can go ahead and just put this here with a little bit of that action. And that way it can also head up this direction and follow the same idea. Oopsie, forgot about that. Yep. There we go. All right, so with a little split here of plastic, we now have all 3 ingredients for a decent line of material. I'm kind of trying to think, can we do the same thing with the blue science packs with this line? Because it actually does take the same material, just sulfur added on. So I'm going to go ahead and do a nice early split of sulfur as well. From this position, which means everything needs to be 1 notch higher, or I could, of course, do it right here. Might look a little awkward for the moment because we're not using the sulfur, but this is going to be what I actually do want to take advantage of in order to, yeah, make blue chips in the future. This can be a great blue chip area. And we can always make adjustments next to the refineries. Of course, we can turn the lights on here just to kind of keep things visible until we get our night vision, which I kind of remember getting that a lot earlier on, but it's really hard to say when everything just was so long ago, and so much of the game you'll be playing at like advanced techs. Like such a significant percentage of the game, you'll just have everything already unlocked, and so it'll feel like natural that that's the default state of the game, when obviously several hours into the playthrough that is not the case. One thing I did want to do real quick before I go too crazy on all these little bits is I did want to drop off these electric furnaces, crafted these by hand after we unlocked the technology, but steel plates, advanced circuits, stone bricks, we had plenty of that already. And these are going to be exactly what we need to avoid the coal shortage that I basically put upon myself, because I wanted to make it so that we had all this iron coming in from the west at full speed. So what we're going to end up doing is redoing everything here, because I think the inserters are the only thing that can really stay. The inserters are good, but the electric poles I believe will need to be at least upgraded, and then all the other materials are pretty much no good. So we'll go ahead and we'll make some adjustments here, and I guess we'll just do a mock setup, and then we'll see what the differences are for real. So this here, and then if this is small electric, it's fine. Honestly, seems like we can just keep that online and leave this entire row, which is fine, because then we can just make sure that this row over here has what it needs and go from there. So yeah, that's why we space things out the way we did before, is to make sure that this is future compatible, and the future has come. The future is now. The way of the future. So we'll go ahead and drop this stuff down, and that will put us in a good spot for long-term iron progress without the need for coal in the way. Still going to be there for the steel lines, still going to be there for the coal refilling of the trains, but I'm pretty happy with what we have right here, right now. Okay, and even this can be bumped up quite a bit, just clearing all this junk out, this entire row, and all these guys here. Of course, that does end up filling our pockets quite a bit, so we're going to need to make adjustments. So our 48 science per minute seems to be a rough estimate of 5. It's just a high cost. Oh, it's 500. Okay, I was like, this is taking a while, but it doesn't seem like we're doing that bad on our science rates. It's because it's just a very expensive tech, all things considered. So anyways, we'll go ahead and run this line here, and because the electric poles at the top, we actually don't even need new electric poles in the system. We can just do the inserters and consider it done. At least for these guys here. And then we get to the outer ring. All right, we'll go ahead and do things here. These guys haven't been as active, so they're not lacking coal, which means they're actually going to have more garbage in them that we have to pull out. So at this point, I'll probably just set up a nice little chest here and start dumping excess materials into. Make it all work. That'll be fine for now. And we're full again. No problem, no concern. We'll get there. We'll figure it all out. Gonna pick up all these reds. That's kind of the most important thing. And then, yeah. Now we can go ahead. You notice the electric furnaces stack into 50s. That's quite a substantial in terms of how many you can carry in a confined inventory. And that also means we're not really clearing a lot of spaces either, are we? So I'll go ahead and do this, maybe grab one back, and then go from there. So this is weird. I guess we just have to redo this part in particular to make sure that the steel manufacturers still get coal where they need it. Yeah, this might take a little doing, actually. So we'll play around with that momentarily. What we want to do right now is just get these inserters down. And the electric poles with them. Alright, everything looks good there. We just need, at the very least, something like this. Okay. Now, to get coal on this line, because we are feeding... What we could do is something more like this, then this. And there we go. That'll work fine. All right, so we get coal on the line. We do that. And we have one more row to take care of. But again, that inventory is going to cause us some issues, isn't it? That's where all the iron plates are coming from. This is like dud. I was like, I don't think I carry that much around on me. I do try to stock up, but that's a bit much. Now, this guy is not filling. Why is he not filling? Should be an obvious answer. But I'm not seeing it. He can reach the iron ore. He wants the iron ore. I mean, obviously there's coal here. In the way, but like... Oh, the inserters have their hands full, that's it. I'm like, that even with that situation on the belts, it should not be causing them those kinds of issues, but, you know. Here we are. Alrighty. So yeah, everything's green except for these two, which probably have the same problem. And we can go ahead and clear the line if we want to. Alrighty, back over here. Wouldn't this be easier with robots, guys? We'll get there. We'll get there very soon. Very excited about it. I mean, sooner than I thought, that's for sure. Yeah, and like, I think in theory I might be able to just drop the electric furnace over it as an upgrade. Nah, it's just like not compatible, mostly because of size factor, I assume, that it doesn't have the replace option there. So that really gonna cost me everything? Can't even draw. I'll just get rid of the stone placeholder here and also recognize that we need to adjust this somehow if we're to continue sending the coal, which I did a splitter for this, so ignore that. All right. Yeah, so I think we don't need to worry about that coal line at all, at least like replacing it. Might want to clean it up just for the niceties, but everything should still operate as intended. New tip, quality. Let's read it. All right, quality improves certain aspects of entities, items, and equipment. Each entity has higher health with higher quality. Each entity type, apart from a few exceptions, gets its own unique bonus, like the reach of electric poles in this example. Items that can be used as buildable tiles can benefit from quality only as part of other recipes. They revert to normal quality upon being placed as tiles. So I'm assuming that means stuff like concrete. Interesting. Very interesting. Rail, pipe, transport belt, and chest do not increase. Get an extra bonus. But that does mean that like assembling machines do. And that was the rate increase, I believe, that I read. So, hype. That's awesome. It's very cool to see. Yeah, I don't know what happened with the underground belt here, but we can just do this. Whoa, 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 whoa. I made mistakes. Yeah, we just want the coal to go through more than anything. We could do that. We just don't need this iron line at all anymore. It's gone. Whatever we did was very clever when we needed it, but we are still screwing things up really badly. All right, so let's try this again. We're going to go ahead and say that the iron plates are getting placed on. We just need this to come in from the bottom. We just needed one extra conveyor belt there to make it all worthwhile, and there we have it. Alrighty. And this can go away, this can go away, and this can go away. Cleaned it up. Some of this is just going to be unnecessary stuff that we do not need to worry about. I'm not worried about it. You're not worried about it. It's going to be great. It's going to be fine. I could switch these over to electric furnaces, reduce their pollution, but I'd rather just kind of, maybe I'll do that offline. I really just want to get to the next step, the next stage, the next interesting thing, now that we have our reliance on coal for these center machines taken care of. So we'll go ahead and reposition everything and then go to whatever's next. I'll go ahead and drop these transport belts off too. And then, you know, there's always an efficient way to remove this stuff. Can I shoot chests now? Is that a thing? That's nice. I'm glad for that. Great. Now we don't have to worry about that material. Just hold shift, hold spacebar, and let her rip. Alrighty. So, we are going to be looking into a variety of things. We're still getting this technology online, but let's go ahead and start manufacturing a little bit of quality modules. I'm curious to see and play around with how quality modules will affect just about everything that I'm working with. So, for right now, I guess I don't need to automate them if they just take 15 seconds to handcraft. I can't possibly need that many, right? I mean, we'll see, really. I think it's worth it since we did just do all this, that we could make a little mini set of it. But then there's quality module 2, 3, etc. It also says speed minus 5%, quality plus 1. I don't think percent is the right increment there, but it's the unit that they had to work with. And then, yeah, stack size, run capacity, all that stuff. So let's say that we have an assembly machine and we put... So, like, I believe it said that I just unlocked the uncommon quality, but I might have unlocked rare as well. I'm curious what that all means. So if I go to quality module, it says unlocks the rare quality. So the question is, can I make a rare item with 2 quality modules if there are that many slots? Let's say I wanted to make a better quality assembling machine. It means I need better quality steel plates and better quality iron gear wheels. So everything needs to be ranked up a little bit. And then what would the result be? I would have a 1.2 crafting speed assembling machine. Is that any different than what I'm looking at right now? It is. This is a 0.75. That would be a 1.2, which is a obviously dramatic increase. Wow. Oh, that's even more options of how do we want to really build off of what we already have. It means handcrafting's in the dumpster now. It means that everything that I craft by hand is just much worse because it cannot be better than rank 1. Whew, that's very interesting. Let me think about that for a second. All right, so I played around with this a little bit to try to get a better eye on it. If you see the little green dots here, there are a few iron ores that are moving through here that do have a higher quality. They're uncommon rarity, basically a rarer version of the iron ore. And you'll see it stacks in a different spot in your inventory. So the way I look at this is that kind of like how you do the whole Covarex enrichment process to pull uranium and to try to get a specific kind of uranium, a specific version. I do believe that we have per quality module, a 1% chance to upgrade the quality to presumably uncommon, but if it double upgrades, then that would bring it up to the next rarity, right? Again, percentages are unlikely. I guess it was not a typo when it said plus 1% quality. It's a chance for it to get that quality. Now, if you look at splitters now, if you do the filters, you can actually filter by quality. So we can say if the quality is greater, equal to, or greater than, or whatever. And what this means, well, it's not as insane right off the bat as I kind of interpreted it, because at the end of the day, you still have to build around level 0 materials. That's just a fact. Like 99% or 97% of the time, it's just going to be regular iron ore, right? But you can, you know, have these special resources that kind of come out of the woodwork be prioritized into this stuff here and be like, okay, we're going to make some nice steel. We're going to make some nice iron gear wheels. We're going to make some nice electric circuits, and then we're going to make these cool assembly machines. It's got to be very intentional what you do with it, and it's going to take some time. So the way I see it is we're definitely going to want to automate quality modules. We're going to want to put quality modules on all of our drills here. And then I'm going to have to set up a filter to just like box up the quality iron until I have an action plan for it when I get a reasonable accumulation of it. Because right now it's going to take a while. That's the game plan. I'm curious if steel does require quality coal and quality iron. I mean, based on what I'm seeing here, it should. But we can go ahead and say, if I put the quality iron ore in here, it's quality iron plates. If I put that back in, I feel like I'm missing something, but if I put 5 of those back in, is that going to be automatically creating what I need? Actually, the steel doesn't require iron at all, or coal at all. Maybe that's me thinking of Factorio and its coke requirement. Let me see here. So steel does not require coal, so I actually could just be feeding the full iron line here, but it's not a big deal. It's already set up properly. But let's say that we were able to get 5 of these. I believe that would make 5 quality iron, or would then make 5 steel, or 1 steel, and then you could do that enough times, you get the process going. So basically we just need quality iron ore and quality copper ore, and we're going to get that. But we'll go ahead and break the timeline, go back to where we just were when I paused and took a look at that, and say that is cool, but it will be there for another day. In the meantime, I do want to try to start making a good number of these quality modules so I can start that mining operation and separating the wheat from the chaff, so to speak. So interesting development. Not what I expected, but also not like super essential. There will be like some key machines that I'm like, oh yeah, we want those to go fast, but that's not that much different than, you know, putting a speed module into it in the first place, right? It's like overclocking is satisfactory. It's just it's a bump in the right direction, but we can't rely on our whole factory doing that. Man, there's a lot of stuff we haven't unlocked yet, that's for sure. All right, let's go ahead and say if we wanted to make quality modules, let's say 4 per minute just to keep it running full time, presumably. Yeah, because it's a 0.75 assembly machine. So it's like, are we saying, can we now like put it into, yeah, an uncommon quality? Is that a 1.0? Like suddenly the math changes so much and it's so interesting. I don't really know. We'll just go based on this right now, and we'll figure the rest out later. We'll go ahead and make our last little bits here. So this should be pretty easy. Just a small handful of items to make this work. We could always double this up if we wanted to, but this will be fine for now. Oh, it's rounding up to 1.03. I'll have to keep an eye on that because I don't want to do that. But yeah, simply put, we just need a little bit of this stuff coming through. And yeah, we'll do those speed inserters. And be making some copper cables. And they will speed exert. What is the opposite of an insert? It's pulling it, but like, I don't know. They're removers. All right. And that's going to go right into green science line with the iron as well. So, frankly, we could just pull this for right now, because as we've learned before, that's all the copper we need. So, we need one. What if we did something like this? And that would put it only on the left side. And then we had those two feeding one assembly machine going out this direction with the electronic circuits. And then that will feed into... Well, we still need some more copper than that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and keep our tech rolling, even though it should be more limited by science than anything else. Yeah, I don't want to deviate too far for the whole quality path. We can get into the robot side of things or the space side of things. And I think robot is definitely the way we want to go. We're going to need some lubrication is already unlocked, so that's fine. But yeah, we can get into the engine units and stuff like that. Let's start with the batteries and go from there. Robotics also needs, yeah, that electric engine. So we got those materials, we got robotics, we got construction bots. At least in technological theory, getting that up and running is going to take a little bit longer. And of course, we want the personal roboport. As soon as we can get the portable solar panel, that will then get us what is probably one of the most quality of life items in the game, the personal roboport, and the construction bots with it. And this will take a while, I think. I imagine this will keep me busy as we're trying to unlock all these different things. But if I had to choose one more thing that I could go ahead and start researching, explosives aren't what they used to be, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, the better bulk considers is always nice too. Uranium mining, we're really doing that now. Like, so you could do, okay, you can't do Covarex enrichment process until you get white science, which we're going to go and launch a rocket for. So this, the fact that this doesn't have a purple at all and it has a white science implies to me they don't even care that you go to production science pack. They want you to go to space. That's the whole idea. So I'll oblige them. I'll go ahead and head that direction. Now, as far as where we were going, this requires as well this, which will then we need to go ahead and just make sure. Yeah, so this whole sulfur thing I was doing is not reasonable because we're just doing this little kind of side attachment rather than like a full line. And that means we should just probably pull the plastic from here. Plastic and copper cable is just what you need. So that is the route we're going to go here. Okay. A little awkward, but it will get the job done. Okay, we're just going to move in the fast inserters as our new number 3. And I think that will work just fine for everybody. Yeah, and it says like each entity has its own benefits. So obviously the manufacturers, the automation machines, the furnaces, those will be the ones that benefit from the rate increase. But I'm curious what other entities would give value. I mean, a lot of the entities we worry about are going to be those manufacturers, or you know, whether it's a refinery, a chemical plant, what have you. But there might be some other things that we can get out of it. So I'm interested to see what that level 4 lab does or whatever, you know. So we got that. We got we just need the electronic circuits, and then we are good to go. And the way I say it, we want both those on the same line, so we'll go ahead and just do the filter here. We'll do it. And then we have the 2 manufacturers right here to then pull into this setup here. And hopefully that brings us along the way where we want to be. Let's go ahead and get the inputs here finalized, and we're all set. That'll work just fine. This one will, yeah, we'll upgrade a few parts here just to make sure. Just, yeah, we need to make sure we're moving everything quickly. A lot relies on, so much depends on the little red wheelbarrow, also known as this green assembling machine. But it'll figure itself out. These guys will chunk it all together. We'll get some quality automated. All right, do we want black science before we get into big blue science? It doesn't hurt. It's not that difficult. We can go ahead and drop off some of our trash here for the moment. If we can clear it out, that'd be nice. I almost wonder if we just want to do a quick side note to get this modular armor put in. My bad. I, for some reason, thought that it required sulfuric acid or the processing units, and that was going to be a whole little thing, but it's just here as is. We got heavy armor. Now we got modular armor. No processing units. That's the way of 1.0. That's the way of the past. Not worried about it at all. Guess we'll go ahead. These guys don't really need to operate any further. Everything's mostly covered by the Western Front now. The big machines, rendering them obsolete. And then, yeah, that leaves us at this point. So we can be trying to collect raw ingredients. Yeah, the thing is, I was going to create this military science pack production, but the reality is that as soon as I do, I'm going to run out of stone. 21k is not a lot. So I think what I want to be doing is actually grabbing a bunch of rails with my new fancy armor, giving me extra inventory slots. Love it. And then we can go ahead and use these rails to make something new. As well, I might have ditched my rail signals and train station signals in the car, and the car is over here. So, or I could just make new ones, which is always seems to be the easier solution. So we'll go ahead and do that. Ooh, like even advanced, like higher quality radars could have some really good benefits. Like the numbers on those are kind of really important. Ooh, so many things. Like I'm kind of freezing up because I'm thinking like, okay, I could be getting lubricant right now and getting into the robots, which is like the thing. But then also I'm worried about running out of everything. If we don't need rocks for robots and we're okay on copper for the time being, which we are, 234k, then why not just focus on robots? I think that's the play. I have the tech. I know this is wishy-washy, but our options open up so much with this tech tree. I just did not plan for anything this varied in terms of how we could approach the next tier. So this is gonna be cool. I'm excited about it. Let's go ahead and see how we can get some advanced cracking. Can we get circuits? Yeah, circuit networks can be next. Actually, I'm going to move that up the tiers a bit and bring that in right over here because I think that will be... Actually, I could benefit from it right about now, so I'm going to go ahead and put it at the top. And we'll go ahead and ride our car over to the refinery. So the setup is the way that we had oil set up beforehand was the simple version. It was one input, one output. You give me some oil, some crude oil, and I will give you that. I can't even remember what the material is. This one right here, petroleum. Nice and easy. However, if you put a little bit of extra effort into it, you can do a lot more. And so we're going to take that approach. Clear all this line out. What we're going to be doing instead is doing, like, is this a thing? Okay, it's stuck at normal, so we're going to just have to assume. Man, that would be so weird if you had advanced oil. Like, advanced liquids does not make as much sense. I think it's limited to stuff that goes on conveyor belts, like solid entities. We will see, though. We will see. I'll make a few of the red cables or wherever they are. Where are the little... Because I know these combinators I don't use very often. Display panels and stuff can be cool. Very geeky, but I was just going to go with the simpler option of the red wire cable or whatever, but I'm not seeing it. So I might have to double check where that comes into play. Or you could just look at what I just researched, right? So I just got that. The circuit network. And what it does, yeah, unlock circuit network. And all the combinators. Wasn't that recipe here before? That's kind of weird. I think that's a mistake that they put this on this tech in particular. 2x iron stick for 1 iron plate does not belong here at all. That's funny. But yeah, it also doesn't show me how to make the special cables that we usually use. So is there a different methodology to it now that I am less familiar with? Because I feel like there was a thing of like, oh, you can hook these up in a special way, but I might have to Google this one because what used to be you just had a red cable or green cable and they would have their own internal like data flow between the different things that are connected to that. Yeah, let me check it real quick. All right, I couldn't find it in the Friday facts, but luckily I did remember where I did see it earlier. I was messing around with my settings to see like, okay, what we want to show. This is actually my first time playing with 3 hotbars instead of 2. But yeah, right here, you can actually just select to have make red wire, green wire, copper wire show up, and then you can, you know, connect things. So that is what we're going to be trying to do after we get things up and running for our advanced oil processing. We do have the ability to make another one of these offshore pumps. Probably could just use this one, to be honest with you. It's not like we're using a lot of water for, it's like 60 water for that, but I already crafted this one, so we're going to stick with it and put it in over here. We'll go ahead and give it some breathing room, as you always should with your pipage. Where does it fit? Okay, right there. And so really, you don't necessarily need to do a bunch underground at this point because you kind of want to be able to access the line easily. So we'll go ahead and do this method right here. And then simply put, just do this. Robots is definitely going to be nice to get. And we are very, very close. Can we get it by the end of the episode? I bet we can. I mean, not like a huge construction network, but at least, you know, a good swarm of bots hanging out inside my RoboPack. That's what I really want. Just the nice ability to add and remove things without as much hassle. So we're going to go ahead and bring our crude in here for good spacing practices. You can do it like this. And that can go right here. And then we do the exact same thing. Go ahead and start it here just to line it up better, cleaner. And here you are. So this, for those who haven't seen, advanced oil processing is basically the same, just one extra input, but the result is 3 different things. And the problem there is if one of these is full, the others will not populate. If we are full on light oil, because like we're using the petroleum, we're sending it, it's still sending the petroleum out through these pipes, but it's not doing anything with the heavy oil and light oil. We haven't told it to. So the result is we've got a bunch of clogged machines. We're going to be in demand for petroleum, but we have too much oil sitting in the machine for it to make anything else at this point. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make another line here, make another line here. And we like to try to do the underground belts like this. And by underground belts, I mean, of course, pipes. And then basically creating that as the setup here so that we can really fully tap into that right here is the game plan. So let's go ahead and then put these here. And I think this will allow me to at least line it up nicely as the darkness sets in once more. Yeah, just drop it over here, I guess. Light things up a little bit. Yeah, this should allow me to then match up with the ones that I just placed. Like, this doesn't look right at all. What the heck did I do here? The other ones look fine. I just somehow messed this up. But it's all good. And just double check. Do a quick sanity check of whatever the heck I'm looking at here, because that did not look right. New tip quality. Okay, tell me. Is that the same thing? Properties of entities, items, and equipments are marked by the diamond icon in the tooltip. When the related object is opened, the icon can be hovered to show the specific values. So, for example, if we were to go to this location here and say, oh, this assembly machine's cool. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at these assembly machines in Factoriopedia with an alt click. Suddenly it's saying the health and the crafting speed are shown right here. So you can take one of these and yeah, but let's go ahead and get to the meat of it, talk about assembly machine 3, which is your best assembling machine. This, with its maximum value, can be 3x crafting speed compared to the default 1.25, so more than double. Amazing. And it doesn't seem to increase like electricity consumptions. And in general, I'm excited about it. Is there anything? I guess I could check the radar. I was curious about that. And a solar panel, higher quality solar panel could be cool. Output, instead of 60 kilowatts, it's 150. That's amazing. That's so good. Yeah, 2.5x power if you get legendary, which of course legendary's got to be insanely hard to get. You're not going to make most of these out of legendary. You're going to make most of them out of scrap. But, you know, in theory, it feels really good. And you could consolidate in specific things that you really want to make just a few of, like the... Okay, how are you going to make 500 legendary concrete? I don't even know, dude. It's weird. We'll have to actually see how it works in, like, the later stages of the playthrough. But the last thing I'll look at, if I can find it, is going to be that radar. Like higher range artillery would be cool. But yeah, let's check this. Radar. Continuous coverage distance. So this is like the mini-map grid would be up to 8. And then exploration coverage can go up to 19, which is not that... They didn't want to make like this insane area. But when you think about that being in a square grid away, that can be pretty good. I'm not sure if it increases the rate at which it scans, though. So that could be a limiting factor as well. Doesn't really give you that much more information if it's a huge grid that doesn't update. All right. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and set up our stuff here for... Nope. Oh, do I not have a lot of these? Okay, I'm going to need to make some more pipes, it looks like. I might need to grab some as well. I think we'll be okay for a little bit here. We'll see. This is a mistake. Fix it and keep things moving. It'll be fine. It'll all work out. You just connect the dots piece by piece. And all the little lines start lining up in a very nice and beautiful way. So what I like to do is get a couple of storage tanks. It looks like we are lacking on iron. Did I feed any to this guy? Did not. But there is some on the line over here. I'll just grab for the moment. No problem. Easy. All right. Portable solar panels, everything is here. All the texts are kind of just like hitting me all at once, and it's a little overwhelming, but I guess that's just what they wanted to do to make you feel like you're not playing the whole game without the big key materials here. All right, so we got our storage tank filling with heavy oil and with light oil. We use that as a reference point for some of the material. What we want to be doing is cracking is what it's called. It's going to be a chemical science plant process where we're turning our light oil into petroleum gas with the addition of water. Then there's also the idea of you can bring heavy oil into water or heavy oil into lubricant, depending on what you need. So that's where the little circuit will come into play. It's a minor decision maker for us. And so, yeah, the only thing you really need to worry about is making sure water's over here, which we're going to do post-haste. We just do a little bit of this. And again, I do think that that means we're going to need some more materials. We will go ahead and take care of that shortly. So we got the water over here. We got to make ourselves some chemical plants. There is definitely a box somewhere that has this stuff. Did I leave it over here? Maybe I brought it up over... I remember leaving a box up top here. I couldn't really tell you for sure, though. That's the problem when you just kind of leave things littered about. It's like, oh yeah, I hope I can utilize this later. Well, it's later, and I don't know where I left my stuff. So we will make it ourselves. No problem at all. Chemical science pack, or chemical plants. There are pipes being manufactured down the line. We will need some more pipes as well, so let's hit the road real quick, grab what we need, and come back to it. In the meantime, we can kind of think about where we want to be setting up our lubricant, how we want to lay that out. It's going to be from a chemical plant, and it looked like it's just a one-to-one, no solid materials involved, no extra liquid, so that's nice and convenient. What does that mean? We can put it anywhere is basically what that means. Which is dangerous words for somebody who has a history of spaghetti. At least I'll make the spaghetti look kind of good. Kind of nice. Usually when you zoom out, it doesn't make that much sense, but when it was at the time, you see how it flows. So it gets so dark around these parts. That'll have to do. Alrighty. So we have the means to make chemical plants. The wherewithal intent to do so. And we'll see what we can do with it. What we're going to do is crack the light oil. I'm curious if what we could do is just remove basic oil processing from the equation and then say we're getting petroleum gas through advanced oil processing, but it's going to show us the byproducts here, which is the excess stuff you don't want. And so in order to get this much petroleum, you would need this much light oil and heavy oil to go somewhere else. But because we're going to be cracking from it and cracking the heavy oil as well, you're going to see that it all kind of flows down to the point that it all kind of finds equilibrium. I don't want to... What the heck is a biochamber? Just keep it simple, guys. I'm already got a lot on my plate, a lot of new things to learn. Let's just, yeah, start with this. This is, I think, so if I encountered this in a overhaul mod, I would be like, yeah, okay, now we're doing spaceships, cool. But because it's in the vanilla game, I think there was like some sense of security of like, I know what I'm going into, I know what I'm up against, and then it just threw it to the wall, and now we're here. So it's crazy. It's crazy how far we have jumped and how much potential there is. Exoskeleton still will require kind of the more complex pieces here, but it will be nice where we can kind of get that too. And night vision and stuff like that too. All these things are very nice. Got to get the laser. That's just mandatory. And then, in theory, we can't do laser turret or anything like that, so we can just do low-density structures from there. Okay. Keep on keeping on. Let's go lubricate things. As I was saying, in this setup here, you have, out of just 2 refineries, which is obviously not what we're running 4 times that, out of just 2 refineries, you have 1.5 chemical plants to crack, and half of a chemical plant to crack heavy. So with that ratio in mind, for 8, you just want to quadruple that to 6-ish, probably 7 chemical plants for light cracking, and 7 for light, and 4 for heavy. 7 for light, 4 for heavy. It's already on there right here. So what we will be doing let's go ahead and do it here. Yeah, this looks fine. It really doesn't need much. Yeah, because it's all going to be one line anyways, so. A little annoying. If we could just back it up 1, then that would make a difference. Alrighty. And just for the symmetry aspect, we'll go ahead and do that here too. We'll put a fake one, then we'll put the real ones. Cool. And if we reverse this, actually, that'd be nice. So we still need water inputs, right? So this is not correct, because we're going to need water to... Basically, we're diluting the stuff that's coming out. And then, in theory, we actually want this to go past that and then come back around, which we can absolutely do. I'm just trying to know. Yeah, let's go ahead and just underground belt this for a bit and then operate around this. Technically here should be fine. And then it will just go bam, bam, bam. Depends on where the water comes in, right? So if we do light oil cracking, this is actually a water line. We'll want to instead do it here. Let's go ahead just to clean things up. And the rest will go on this line here. Okay, that all works. And then we'll have a water line further down. Got it. I almost would prefer that we did it all with water on one side, just so we can have a consistent water line. So let's go ahead and do it this way, and then we'll just turn the light oil around when it gets there. So this is wrong, right? Okay. Oh, I gotta flush the line. Cool. Alrighty. Yeah, I'm just trying to beautify this a bit. I'm thinking it's gonna be a little cluttered if we do it the wrong way. Yeah, we can just do it like this, though. Like, just do a tripod. And then we just need to set it up to do this. All of those will be connected to the same thing. I did not get night vision yet. And I don't think I'd have the material to make it work if I did, but that's okay. Is this out of line? Yeah, either there or there. Okay, we'll just do this then. And in the meantime, yeah, we need to then have a heavy oil line that heads in from all the way over there. Been a while since I had to set up a line like this, but not a big deal. Just like riding a bike, you gotta get back on it, figure out where the pedals are. And then that's all set up to do the reverse as well. Like I said, could be prettier, but we're happy just to make it work for right now. We can do like a big at-scale version of this at some point. There's the water line. And that'll stop right there. Cool. Anyway, I think that we do not have enough underground pipes, because I think we do not. But I suppose we'll have to see. More awkwardness. More awkward. Yeah, this whole thing needs to go. I just need to be okay with coal not going through my entire refinery. Let's just guide it a different direction. That's going to make things a lot easier for me. Could have done that from the start, but here we are. Oh, and it's supposed to be only on this side, so pop. Cool. Petrol. And then if I have enough, I can just do a storage tank right there. Why did I... How much did I screw this up? Okay, it's the opposite side. That's how much I screwed it up. Ay. Fine. Good. Have your materials here. Well, this is how you know it's a real playthrough. It's just the awkward moments. Not some cookie cutter pre-planned, I knew what was happening from the beginning kind of thing. But that is about enough. They take 3 each, right? So we need like 100. That's 100. Let's take a quick ride up there and see if we can start extracting. If we can't get any more distracted than we already are. Woohoo. So, simple filter, box setup. We'll have iron ore in no time. High quality iron ore. So, I believe I can just do something like this. There we go. They all have the quality modules. They're going to be sending this stuff in. If it is... quality of less than uncommon, then it will go through there. And if it's greater than uncommon, it'll go through here. And then that will be put into a box right here. Take out those and we should be good. All right, cool. And that's all you really need to do until you have enough material to be like, yeah, I want to build something out of this fancy stuff. Let's make it happen. I think it's kind of cool. I am worried that this will get like clogged somehow. That like the line will get full of materials that if I forget about this long term, so it doesn't harm us too much. Just add the extra inserter there to double the buffer. I mean, if I get a full crate full of that kind of material, then I'm kind of suffering from success at that point, but you never know. All right. Yeah. No, I'll just go keep up with this and continue to build off of it. I believe we'll want some more underground belts, underground pipes. Pipe to ground is what it's called. I'm never going to call it pipe to ground, I promise that much. Oh, this is connected there, okay. Alrighty. I mean, there's no real harm in me just doing a direct connection here. Yeah, I might quote-unquote cheat and walk through it with my Squeak through a little bit. But honestly, I'm not passing through this that often anyways. Beep, beep. Alrighty. So that is an ugly cracking setup, but it's a cracking setup. Last part, we will add the lubricant and the circuit to tell it what to do. Why is there a pipe here? This is for petroleum to go right here. And that way it connects to this whole thing. I think my game plan was I was going to make one of these and then fit it into that gap. That's why it looks weird. All right, but because I put this here, nothing works at all. Yeah, so we're going to do something like this. And that way we can kind of gauge how much petroleum we have as well. And everything works fine. So now we have an indicator for how much light oil we have going on, how much heavy oil we have going on, how much petroleum we have going on, and all that should be sorting itself out here in the near future. Maybe. I was hoping this would go down just a tick. There it is. We're starting to get into 22K. Not going up at the very least. And yeah, so, and these guys are not all online. Why would that be? It's like they don't have enough crude oil because our miners have been digging this up for a while. 350% is still a good combined yield though. At the end of the day, my current factory only requires like 2 of these to be online, but it'd be nice if we had more. Anywho, point being, now we have an indicator of our heavy oil and lubricant. This is going to be something that we want only online if the lubricant is not necessary. So what we're going to be doing now is setting up lubricant. Over here. And like I said, I think it's just a nice easy one-to-one. So we could just do something like this. And if that's the case here, yes it is. Just easy, simple conversions. Go ahead and pipe it out. Make one more storage tank. And put that bad boy right here, I believe. Yep, everything's connected. We'll see that gradually accumulate as the heavy oil gets used up. But now it's like splitting the heavy oil between this and this. We don't want that. Technically, this might require less, 10 heavy oil for this and 40 for this. So naturally, I think it'll be like first come to this because it's fills up, takes less time to take the 10. But we're just going to make sure it does what it's supposed to do. We're going to go ahead and make red wire, connect it to this power pole. Here, here, and then to each of these machines. And the idea would be we're going to measure the contents of the storage tanks. If we read the contents of the network, I believe you can do that just by checking here. They said somewhere that you could view the contents of the circuit network somewhere. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and make this. It enables this disable setting based off of the lubricant count. Hot fluoroketone. What? Fluoroketone? That's wild. Oh, there's so much weird stuff we're gonna get into. We're getting into jelly, for crying out loud. I wonder if we harvest that from, like, creatures. That'd be cool. Dude, there's so much. This is the vanilla game now, guys. Like, it feels like this is such a huge content expansion, and it's just what you get when you get the DLC, which I guess is, by definition, not the vanilla game, but you know what I mean. Like, this is what you would consider like a default playthrough. Nothing fancy, no big mods equipped. And we can just build off of that from there. Like, that's so cool. I'm getting a little bit distracted. I'm trying to find the lubricant. It's supposed to be green. I believe it's an intermediate product, but who knows? It's probably just a fluid. There it is. All right, normal. All right, we have this. Interesting, it defaulted to our current contents of 1700. I'm going to go ahead and say if it's less than 20K, then these guys can turn on. So the number has to change to this. Set constant 20K. If lubricant is greater than 20K. My bad. So it's showing, it's not just showing, because usually it would just show the green drop and no number here. It's also saying, like, by the way, this is what is currently reading, which is very helpful. Okay, so if it has 10 times as much as the current lubricant count, then it will activate. And we'll just go ahead and make sure that those settings are applied to each of these. So it's not going to be doing the heavy oil cracking. It's going to be doing the lubricant. If lubricant is close to full, then it will do heavy oil cracking. Either way, it's doing light oil cracking, and it's making petroleum. And everything's perfect and wonderful. Great. All we have to do is then ship the lubricant on down the line to wherever we're going to be making robots at. And since we have all our materials available over here, we should just be able to kind of get that underway very soon. We have plenty of underground pipes as well. So let's try to make it happen. I'm just going to steer clear of our current operation because it's messy enough as it is. I don't know what's wrong with me and not being able to visualize columns. Maybe F5 would help me out a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's dark and I'm not used to it being dark. Either way. We are here. We are on our way to try to get just one little robot friend. Just one little robot friend. It can make a big difference in our lives. Some car ride. All right, there we go. Send it off. Right, and then we send it west. Okay. All right. Looks like water from here, but it is lubricant. it is ready to go. Let's go ahead and say if we were trying to make some construction robots, how would we go about it? Well, construction bots were under combat at some point, I believe. I always thought that was a weird place for them, so they might be under logistics now. We'll see. Logistics. We got the construction bots. Wonderful. And yeah, just like 5 per minute. Honestly, it doesn't need to be a crazy amount. It just needs to be something. Yeah, let's see the materials. The batteries will require sulfuric acid, which you don't currently have set up. Engine units, sulfuric acid, geyser. Who's geysing sulfuric acid? It's got to be a planet. Okay. I think that should cover all. Everything else can be considered a base material within the context of what we've brought up. So a lot of little steps, not a lot of volume. So if we wanted to bump this up a little bit, we definitely could. So let's go ahead and say, like, if we did 30, how much would that really change? Okay, now we're seeing like big 6 numbers and stuff like that. We want this to be a bit smaller. Like this being at 2 would be fine. So let's say 10 is fine. 2.2. There we go. 9? Jeez. Just guess and check, I guess, guys. Guess and check. Who needs math? All right. For some reason, it's 9 construction bots. I think it's because it's at the 0.75 speed or whatever. Or 0.75 speed. Makes sense. But yeah, we are going to be following this guy, like factory plan in order to make some robots happen. And that'll be our last thing for today here, an hour and 16 minutes in. Feeling pretty good about that. Just curious to check in on how our stuff is going. We have now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stacks of uncommon iron ore and 35 rare iron ore. I guess in the same vein, we can go ahead and head over to copper and ask it to do the same thing with that. We have a car. We should use a car. So yeah, I'm running like a go-between 2 different little assignments here. I'm trying to improve my quality extraction, and then I'm also trying to run through. This isn't hindering me, right? It's green science that's really limiting me. Why is green science doing so poorly? Doesn't have any iron coming through here, which is because there's a lot being taken in the line for blue science that it doesn't need, or advanced circuits that are just being boxed. How's this box? Let's go ahead and put a limiter on that. We don't need any more. Thank you, though. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, it just means that we need more smelters, basically. We just need to turn this into a red belt, make more smelters, and then the issue here is, of course, we don't have the next upgraded belt, like blue, I believe. And so we would have to just restructure how these inserters here get the iron. It would have to be through a full line, not a half line. Or maybe we could say they don't have to wait their turn for the iron and make it simpler, like do a splitter here and stuff. I'm not going to get into it right now. We'll get the science done. But I will note that we are very low on stone, and our project after robots will be to fix that resource with some more rail stuff, which is going to be great. There's some of that. Alrighty. I'm down here for the quality improvement. Do we need quality stone? That's awkward, right? Because, like, I think concrete... I was talking about nuclear, and I think concrete might require stone. Let me look it up here. As my keyboard freaks out. There we go. Just iron. It is iron, stone, and water. So in theory, if we can get 500... 5 stone bricks stone bricks are each 2 stone. So it's 10 stone times 500. So it's 5,000 green stone would make a better nuclear reactor. That's a lot. And these guys don't even have modules. They're kind of dumb machines. I don't believe these steel ones would either. Doesn't make much sense to me. So they're not even electronic. Yeah. So we would have to set it up so that we could extract. We're just going to do that at the next site. The next site can do that. Because, yeah, we could pull it here, but there's no stone left, basically, anyways. So we're just going to upgrade our copper miners instead. And then for here, right before we get to that point, we can just say, hey guys, real quick, if you do happen to send anything that is below uncommon quality, go ahead and send that direction. If you got anything fresher than that, we'll take it over here. And we'll grab this. And right off the bat, it's already kind of producing something. Maybe it's just kind of rare random procs, but not a big deal. Robot, robot, give me a robot. I did get night vision at this point, I believe. Still, why did I put exoskeleton first? Feels like just do the night vision. Come on, it's 50. 50 greens is just as hard as 50. I mean, actually, they're as hard to make as one another because at the end of the day, the green is what I'm bottlenecked on right now. It is sad because I feel like with a better flow, it would be easier, more easily remedied, but we're still kind of trying to make sure we get a lot of stuff over here too. This is definitely a spaghetti solution. I apologize. But I just want to spend very little time on it and get these inserters what they need. And then, you know, half of it still goes through the main line for green circuits, for iron gear wheels, etc. But we don't have to feel so bad about the green science flow. And we'll get our text. Back to the action. Back to the big stuff. Yeah, we're navigating. We're not crashing into anything. Not on your life. Alright. Continue. What do we have here? We have copper. We have iron. What are our inputs? It's going to be sulfur for the sulfuric acid, along with water, which is nearby as well. Do we just want to pump sulfuric acid over here and not worry about it as much? We still need it over here for the blue science, regardless. But yeah, I think we could just make sulfuric acid at this point. We add a chemical science pack? How many times do I say chemical science packs? Chemical plants. Pretty straightforward. All right. So we'll make those. Whoa, our trash slots are much better now because the logistic bots are like, the robots just want to like grab it from you anyways. So now we can, at least for the time being, just kind of toss things in there as the extra inventory. And very soon we'll just have the logistics completely manage that for us. Anywho, as far as I can tell, if we want to do sulfuric acid, it's going to be here. It's going to be iron, sulfur, water. We have the sulfur. We just need the iron. And then I'm perfectly fine with just doing the water from here. So we can go ahead. Does it? And there's not too many. We don't need that many sulfuric acid makers, right? Just the one, basically. If we want to increase our battery count and get into the accumulators for our solar energy, then we'll want more than that. So we'll go ahead and just make a second one right now. But it looks fine to just do this. Frankly, all of that works just fine. we can go ahead and just pipe the rest over here. Keep it out of the way. Cool. So, we have these. This one just needs some iron plate and sulfur inputs, which we can do a few ways. I think doing a splitter here works the best. And then sulfur is output on the left side, meaning iron gets all blocked up. Wow. I was going to say that's some foresight if I was able to make that work. But it looks like we are just shy being able to. Shame. It's fine. It's just fine to do a splitter here instead. There shouldn't be... Okay, I guess I have to do it one earlier. Sometimes things work out that way instead. Okie dokie. Can we just do red belts here, or red inserters here? Not quite. Something like this could work though. Then we don't have to do some really ugly looking belt stuff to make that happen. All right. But then how, yeah, we have to make sure this pipe is in the right spot, or the, I think I'm just like swapping words at this point. Yeah, this medium electrical. We'll go ahead and pull the sulfur into these, and we will pull the sulfuric acid out. And we have it available whenever we want. We just need to decide where it's going to go. Okay, I can make night vision. I can make solar panels. I just need to make batteries, like the portable batteries. How to make portable batteries? Is that not a thing yet? Personal battery, there we go. Put that right after the accumulator. And that should be pretty easy to make. Just needs 5 batteries, which we're going to be making here in a second anyways. 2 chemical plants making batteries from iron, copper, and sulfuric acid. There it is. So why is... So these are green plates. Is that going to be a problem? Let me see this. Okay, so this guy here, if he needs green plates, will he not take these? Because that's kind of annoying. I'd rather it just default and take the lowest, whatever rarity it can get, instead of acting like this is a brand new material. But I am curious how this didn't get siphoned off the line with the splitter that I made. It should have. But I think this guy is actually putting it past the splitter instead. So I'm just going to disable him so he doesn't destroy my entire operations off of a couple of green dots that went too far. Who knows? Not seeing any other hijinks at the moment, but it is interesting these ones got through. So once again, we have we could do that. Every time I say that, I feel like, oh, I'm pulling some other absurd thing out that I probably shouldn't be, but here we are. Yeah, we have iron, we have copper, we have sulfuric acid. And that goes into batteries. That's the main use for sulfuric acid. I think there are a couple other things though. So if I could try to check this real quick in the encyclopedia. It's made in this. It's used in batteries and processing units. That's the other one that I think I needed it for. So rather than doing a 1-to-1 on batteries, I'd rather pull it out, give it a nice little line to work on, and then set up the chemical plants. Even if it takes up more space, that allows me to then repurpose it for purple chips later on. Purple chips, blue chips, they're blue chips, right? Yeah. And then the trick being I was going to use this line for that. And if I just did all this right here, wouldn't that be better? So I could red insert it here. Okay, we'll do that. And then we can still pull off the line, right? We certainly can. Cool. And now I can red insert her into here. Why? Okay, because it's too far. Awkward. Yeah. We actually now need to bring it one further away. Oh, that's so annoying. Okie dokie. This is not the right one, I don't believe. There we go. All right, everything's online now, as planned-ish. And we'll go ahead and look at the cool new animations they made for sloshing around some batteries. And then I'll go onto the battery line. And that is a significant part of the robot stuff taken care of. That's sulfuric acid marked off the list. And now, yeah, we just need copper cable going into green circuits, or we could just take some green circuits from this because it's 0.7 machines. It's a decent amount, actually. Probably not going to work. So we instead need to do more copper cable action. Yeah. One copper cable machine. I'm not going to do 1.05 here. Feeding into one assembly machine. That's the only thing that requires the cable. Yep. Okie dokie. And then the iron would be nice to have at this point. And that's where we gotta say, I think we've gone a little too far with all this stuff. Because we can't really do... I guess we could pull iron like that. It's not the best, but... It'd be funny if the red inserter is just like, oh, the easiest solution. Let's just Occam's razor. I'm just going to pull the electronic circuits off of that belt and put it into the circuit maker. It's like, oh, made it. It's all done. I take the credit. It's mine. Yeah. Bam, bam, bam. Green circuits go into construction bots. I probably also could have just made flying robot frames instead of construction bots and been perfectly happy with that. And then just handcrafted the bots. A little bit faster. But, you know, little tiny setup here for the green chips. Doesn't hurt anything. And now we just need one assembly machine for construction bots. Which will be under logistics. And then we need to meet it on the opposite side with flying frames, which is going to be based on engine units and... Oh, E-circuits go into that too. Never mind. All right. Good to know. So these green circuits are going to be going into a different thing, which needs to meet up with the engine units. So back to the iron. I'm just going to poach these engine units. We're not using them. Let's be real. I'm totally fine with just doing that. I don't have purple inserters, right? I don't have filter inserters, which does make this slightly more awkward, especially with all of this action. So this is a placer, which means this could go here like this. Okay, because this is... Yeah, either way, it shouldn't interfere. So now we're going to do another... Just for visibility, we're going to do it here. We could do it one step south, but we want to make it clear what's going on. On the left side here is going to be filtered, supposed to be, down to engine units. So that clears up a lot of this minor stuff and allows us to just focus on the key pieces, which is two... Let's see, is this 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. We need one more, so let's go ahead and do it here. Electronic circuit makers here. And then one for the... And then we need the lubricant to come in, which will be coming in from over here. Got it. So these will be our engine units for now. And then we can do input, output. The trick being that we then need to make sure that the lubricant is set up just above it right here. Almost matched it up. But, you know, you work with it how you can. Bam, lubricant's coming in. Green circuits are coming in. Engine units are coming in. We have these guys. We're going to be outputting on the opposite side here. And now we need to make the frames. So the frames themselves require stuff that we haven't really been working with. Batteries, E-circuits, engine units. So we just need to put steel on this line, and that's your, for all your inputs. And steel would be right over here. Already set up for us. Perfect. Yeah, that makes sense. And then that's just one. That's 4 something machine makers. These guys take a long while to make. They're complicated. You give them time. So where do we want those? Well, we want them sandwiched in between these two, which I think makes sense to route about here. And certainly not our cleanest operation, but it does do the job. Frames, frames, frames. Engine units are over here, and they're coming in over time. They want more E-circuits. E-circuits want more copper. The copper is falling apart because, well, our process is pretty slow, to be honest. I did not upgrade our copper to significant means, and it's getting eaten up by the blue science boys. So for the sake of finishing up this build, I'm just going to discontinue these guys for the time being, and then we'll put it all together shortly. And then I'll get our copper upgraded and we'll look at all our text finished, and yet more text. Usually you get to like this point where you've been researching the same tier for a while and you're like, oh, I only have like 6 left. Nope, it's everything. We still have everything to research. And some of that is going to be military science, black science we can't really get into, but there's a lot. There's a lot, guys. The ever complicated gate. The technology is beyond us for this time. But everything else seems to kind of fit, so. I'm not too worried about these in general. I'm not going to jump into them just yet anyways. All right, and then these guys, of course, will need to have somewhere to drop these boys off. To the north sounds fine by me. And then that can be brought down to meet up with the last of the electronic circuits. And then have one assembler to rule them all and to bind them into our finest creation. And then if we can make a roboport, we would put them into that directly. We'd say this is where it begins. This is where the drone swarm comes alive. We do a roboport, and that's exactly what we will do. But we've already said it. It's not worth saying twice. Or is it? This is where it begins. This is where the drone swarm comes alive. Yeah. All right. So, if you are not familiar with our little friends, these little electric dudes, anything within this orange grid is something that they can interact with by tearing down or building up. And anything within the green grid is... Actually, no, I reversed it. The green grid, anything within that grid, they can tear down or build up. Anything within the orange grid, they can do deliveries for. So, like, if I put a box here and said, this box wants this thing, it'll just put it in the box and you can put it on the line. But we're going to go ahead and test that right here. You can see, bop, bop, bop. Oh, wait, they don't have the materials provided to them. So you have to have special boxes that will allow them to do that. For example, this is a passive provider chest. Those are going to be ever so useful. And if I go ahead and put some belts into that provider chest, they'll say, oh, belts, that's exactly what I need to do this job. And they will do it for me. And with ever increasing speed as you upgrade them. So looking forward to it. That's going to be great. If we can get the roboport on our back, cool, but has been a nice little playthrough here. And I've got a lot to wrap my head around before we really get digging into the next part of it. So if we can go ahead and look, personal batteries, I can definitely pull those from here. And in fact, probably just want to set up something here with that. I'll just do this, yeah. Because what I want to be doing at this point is putting those batteries into a place where we can then turn them into the accumulators for our power grid. So we'll go ahead, a couple more boxes, box those off right there, eventually turning that into a belt line or what have you. Alrighty, so this is where we're at right now. Nice little operation. Mining is getting more and more quality accumulation. Glad I kind of put 2 boxes there just to make sure we didn't destroy everything like those 2 pieces of copper did. But yeah, we'll figure out what we want to do with all that stuff as time goes by. Should be pretty cool. In the meantime, trying to get a note of finality here if we can actually figure out our logistics. Personal roboport. We got the night vision goggles. So our personal roboport can cover a quantity of 10 robots. If we get a higher quality roboport, we can do more. But of course, that would require high quality steel plates, high quality batteries, high quality iron gear wheels, and high quality advanced circuits. Like, where do you even begin? For example, is this where you would put the quality module to create high quality plastic? Or is that something that comes from high quality oil? Like, I'm gonna definitely dive into that a little bit more and kind of try to figure out the details, because there's so much that can accomplish in theory, but the pieces having to come from level 1 and go from there, and also that they exist as completely separate items, not just in an inventory stack, but on the belt itself. Like, effectively, that was a sushi belt. When we saw the copper plates sitting on the uncommon copper plates sitting next to the commoners, oh, they can't mix. We have elitists in our colony now. Like, what the hell? Oh, this is gonna be interesting. But yeah, we got some bots. I'll go ahead and grab a few of those for myself, for my own benefit. Nice little sound effect for that there. And then yeah, let's go ahead and say if we had a solar panel, if we have a battery, maybe we want some more solar panels. Steel, and looks like just steel. Let's go ahead and just grab some of this. Cool. So let's say we have that going on, and we are powering up with the solar panels. We are putting it in a personal roboport. You can have a lot of these, guys. You can actually fit quite a few in here. At the very least, well, the batteries take up 2, so I guess you can only really have 2 for a bit. You could definitely have 3. You could definitely have 3 for a while here, and that's 30 robots that you can be playing around with. That's awesome. There we go. 30 robots, and soon to be 3 roboports in my personal stash here. I shouldn't have picked it up. That destroyed a lot of electricity that I was accumulating, but we'll figure it out. You know, we'll get it there as the day continues. But yeah, that basically means that I now have the robots within me. I have come online, I've been upgraded, and you see with anything within this green square can be delegated. You say, I want some rails down, guys. Do you see rails in my inventory? Because if I had them, it would do them, right? No, it's still got to charge. Still got to charge. But once it does, at its extremely slow rate, as the solar panels gradually provide the power. Is there another power option, or is that it? Okay. That's all I got. We'll put the night vision goggles in too. We'll see at night. We'll get this charged up. We'll get our robots twerking about. It's going to be beautiful. Can't wait. But that's going to be it for this episode, guys. We have made some great progress here. We have gotten into our advanced oil mechanics. We have gotten into circuit controlled lubricant and heavy oil cracking. We have our light oil cracking and our sulfuric acid turning into batteries, as well as learning about new technologies, new quality, and a new pathway to the stars. I mean, in theory, we're like 2 episodes away from going to space, and I am in love with that idea. We still definitely need to really, really build up the rail network and get the raw resources coming in and pumped to the right spots. Probably will have some encounters here in the near future from the more nefarious of sorts. But you know, even that, we've got, I think, laser turrets to deal with pretty soon. I might need a little, yeah, that's flamethrowers. Where'd the turret? All right, that's a lot of answers for turret. Let's start with this one. Yeah, just a little bit of black tech. Just 150 black tech, and we've got laser turrets. Like, that's great. And then we can go out and do our thing. So we're learning some new mechanics that exist only in 2.0. We are coming online in a big way. We'll go ahead and put these inserters back now that we've kind of gotten to where we want to on our robot build, and we'll definitely want to scale up the copper and really everything. See what we want to do with all that. But this has been really cool. This has been really fun. There's been a lot of progress here to get to where we are. And now I have robots. So that's pretty cool. All right, it'll take a while to charge. It'll be here though. And when it is, it will be wonderful. Have a good night all. Enjoy the rest of your gaming or sleeping or whatever it is you will do. But for now, we're going to wrap things up here and let the factory grow tomorrow. Have a good one. Of course, as always, it's some YouTube guru told me I'm supposed to say this in every video. Apparently, it makes people actually think about it. Are you subscribed to the channel? Would you like to help other people find content such as this, help to grow the factory even more? Then that would be great. But of course, just a comment of saying, hey, I like what you're doing. Hey, I hate your spaghetti and you need to clean it up. Anything, any feedback is always worth reading from my end. So I appreciate anybody who took the time to enjoy, and I hope that you'll be around for the next one. So yeah, feel free to like, comment, or subscribe, or just stay tuned as we will have more content coming soon. Have a good one.